Hi, so this video is just a reminder about how to do a sort of basic search using the databases CINAHL and Medline. So this sort of search is suitable if you're just writing an assignment or you're just doing some background research and you want to know if there are any journal articles around a particular topic that you're writing about. If you're doing a more sort of advanced search for like a systematic review, then you might use some different search techniques. I'm going to cover those in the advanced searching video. But this is just a basic one where you want to scope out a topic and see what there is. So I'm going to be working on the basis of a topic around physiotherapy for frozen shoulder, and I'm looking at older adults, and the outcome is range of movement. So I've got a sort of pico for that, so then I can start basing my search around that. So for just a simple, straightforward search, I'm going to select, first of all, I'm already on CINAHL, but I'm going to go to choose databases. I'm going to select CINAHL, Medline, and I'm going to include this one, AMED, as well, because all three of those are going to be relevant. If I was doing anything where it involved either qualitative research or more so after mental health or sort of psychology, I might include another database like PsycInfo or Psych Articles on top of that. If I was doing something which involved an element of sports physiotherapy, I might include Sport Discus as well as those other ones. But for this, I'm just going to select these three because this is just a basic search around physical health, and then press OK. So if I go to the show all, that shows that I'm searching these three databases, and this is how you can do a sort of basic search. Again, if you're doing a systematic review and you need to do that much more thorough search, then you would do separate searches on each database so that you've got much more control over what results come back. So now we come on to sort of structuring our search, and to start off with, what I do is put each of my topics into a separate line. I need to add an extra line in. It's got physiotherapy. We're looking at range of movement as our outcome. We're looking at elderly patients as our patient group, and our diagnosis is frozen shoulder. It doesn't matter which order you put these in, so long as each separate topic has its own line. Then what I need to do is think about adding in alternative terms. And the nice thing about these databases is to give you suggestions. So I'm going to go physiotherapy or physical therapy, range of movement or range of motion, elderly or aged or older, etc., frozen shoulder or adhesive capsulitis. And then I can run that search to start with. Now that's giving me, if I just go to my results, 225 results. I'm just going to improve this search a little bit with those couple of techniques that I showed you in the session, phrase searching and using truncation. So phrase searching means that it will only search for these two words as a phrase rather than as two separate words. So we do that by putting it in quotation marks, and now it will search for the phrase physical therapy, not just the words physical and the word therapy. And similarly, range of motion and range of movement. And last one, adhesive capsulitis. And then I'm going to run that search again. So that's now giving me 181, so it's reduced my results by about 50 by only searching for those phrases. And the last bit that I want to do is use that truncation, and we use that when there's alternative terms that you might use. So for example, I might be interested in physical therapy, therapies, therapists, etc. And I can do that on those two words, and I don't think it would be relevant on any of the others. There's not really any alternative terms for these. Okay, and that's got me up to 193 results. I can see here when I'm on my search history and I've got that selected, each of the searches that I've done, and I can see how my results have changed for each of these. If you start getting results that have gone wildly up or wildly down, then that's usually an indication that there's a mistake somewhere in the search. So you can use that search history just to check where that error might have been. If there was an error in there and you think, oh, I've put in a keyword that I don't want, you can go to edit here and then edit out the bit that you don't want anymore. So if I decided that one of these keywords was pulling in too much stuff I don't want, I can remove that from my search. Go down to the results now. I've got 193, which isn't a terrible number, but it is a little bit high for me to actually scroll through. So I'm going to add some of these filters, go into refine results, and the first one that I'm going to look at is publication date. Now the earliest one here is from 1984, so 35 years old. I don't want anything that old. I only want the last full 10 years of results. And that's reducing it down to 111. I'm also going to select this one that I only want academic journals. So that's taking out any dissertations, any magazine articles, any newspaper articles. And that gets me to 101, which is about the right sort of number that I would hope to get in a set of results. So now I'm going to actually go through and sift through my results and pick out which ones are relevant to my study and save them for later. First thing, just to speed this up, at the moment it's only showing 10 results per page, so I've got loads of pages to go through. I think it's easier if you go to page options and select 50 per page, and then you've got 2 pages of 50 rather than 10 pages of 10. And then what I would do is look at the titles. If I know straight away that it's relevant, I can use this folder icon to save it for later. If I need to read the abstract, I go to this little magnifying glass here, and that gives me the abstract. And I would go through each of my results, not reading anything yet, but just putting stuff into that folder to look at later. When I've finished going through all of my results, I would then go up to the folder here, and then I'm going to start downloading and reading the articles or printing them off to read later. So to do that, I'll either see this PDF full text icon, and that means that the article's ready to read straight away, so I can download it or print it or just read it online. Alternatively, I might get this locate it button, and this means that the article is stored somewhere else, so this is available, but it's on Taylor and Francis. So I would click that link. This bit gives me the login notes here if I need it. And once I'm on here, I can then find the PDF option and download that PDF. And same again, download it or print it off. Once I've gone through all my results, I can then either sort these into another folder by going to new and moving them over, or I can just delete them all and clear them off my folder. Okay, so that's how to do a sort of basic search, and this is for a standard essay or to do background reading on a particular topic. I've got a separate video that I've recorded which covers more advanced search techniques, and that covers using CINAHL headings and mesh headings in a search, and you use that when you've got a more systematic approach, for example when you're doing a systematized literature review. Thanks.